Hey, Desert Coyote 22 here. I've got a little special video for you. Nightwish is one of the bands that JMap introduced me to. He and I have been longtime Nightwish fans, even before Annette became the current singer. So we've been fans for a while. And, the first album I bought from them was Once. And I haven't looked back since then. They're easily one of my top five bands right now. Initially JMap and I were skeptical about Annette being the singer because she doesn't sound anything like Tarja. And we thought their previous singer fit well with them. We actually did like her opera voice. But one night I was curious and I bought the Dark Passion Play CD from Best Buy. And not only did I dig it, it became one of my all-time favorite albums, period. And considering all the albums that I do listen to, if it's one of my all-time favorites, that's a big thing. Now, one thing about Dark Passion Play is that, one thing it didn't do with the Tarja area is that Dark Passion Play appealed to a wider audience, and it introduced more fans that initially didn't care for the opera voice of Tarja, my girlfriend being one of them. So here we are 4 years later. We Nightwish fans have been waiting and waiting and waiting for an album that, promises to be even bigger and better than Dark Passion Play. So what we have is a concept album about a guy, a composer, reminiscing about things in his lifetime on his deathbed. So will this album live up? After so many listens of this album, there is one word I can describe it. Beautiful. Wait a minute. What? Beautiful? A metal album, a heavy metal album, heavy metal music in general. It's not supposed to be considered beautiful. Metal is supposed to be dark. It's supposed to be heavy, and it's supposed to give you a grin that says, I want to kick someone's ass. But with this little subgenre called symphonic metal, Nightwish are the true masters of it. And while every component of what makes a great metal album is there, such as amazing riffs, heavy beats, big choruses, good tempo and mood changes, adding the symphony in the background, makes these songs that are already great sound a lot more epic. And it's almost like you can imagine this song being played in a movie. And to me, that's what makes Nightwish beautiful sounding. So I'll just go track by track before I state my piece about Imaginaerum as a whole. The first track is a Finnish name I probably can't pronounce right, so I'm not going to even try. And yeah, it's a good 2-minute intro to the album. It's very soothing hearing Marco singing softly in Finnish, I'm not going to lie. And it, sets the tone for what we're about to hear. And it opens up with Storytime. And Storytime has classic Nightwish all over it. From the section that introduces all members of the band. It's got a great catchy riff. It's got a great chorus. Epic sounding bridge, especially the children's choir in it. I constantly that's always in my head all the time. And even if you didn't like the song at first, it does grow on you. I mean, I heard the song as a single religiously when it came out. And usually I thought, okay, I'm already going to get sick of this song, so I'll just skip Storytime when I play the entire album before. But I can't. It's too good of a song, and it's definitely going to be a fan favorite for sure. And the next one up there, Ghost River. When I first heard the opening guitar, initially I thought, did I just put in a Van Halen record? But hey, that's not a bad thing either. But I can describe Ghost River as like Van Halen meets Pantera. Because it basically will go from Annette singing to Marco growling and singing in a lower key. And when listening to the song, one thing I noticed is how much more matured Annette's voice has been sounding. It's like her voice is fitting in with the sound much better than before, which is a great thing. Okay, then the next song, Slow Love Slow, is the first ballad of the album, and it's supposed to give you like a 1930s feel, like you're in a nightclub in the 30s. And, it's like a woman in a red dress serenading the audience. And the song definitely does a good job of that, and it's nothing like Nightwish has ever done before. So I can just imagine if they play this song live, that you can see Annette on top of the piano if they bring out one, and she'll just be singing the song like serenading the audience. The next song, I Want My Tears Back, is another really catchy song like Storytime. And I wouldn't be surprised if they used the song as a next single, to be honest. It has the same kind of feel of Bye Bye Beautiful with Annette singing the verses and Marco doing the chorus. And it has a good use of the Ilian pipes by guest musician Troy Donockley, as I always do love the Celtic feel in a Nightwish song. And in the middle of it, it was cool hearing Troy and Empu trade solos with one another. So it's a great bridge and great middle part of the song. So it is a great one. Scare Tale. Oh, when I first listened to this song, I had a huge grin on my face because the heavy orchestrated intro of it built up into an explosive train ride with double bass. It's like an explosive, scary train ride, as I would call it. And the double bass, when I heard it, just made me want to floor the gas pedal in my car when I was driving. And after the intro, it kicked off with an awesome riff and a fast beat. And another thing is in this song, Annette here sounds even more different than before. I mean, she's broadening her range to almost sounding growling, and she's sounding a bit on the scarier side here. And the mood changes instantly into a chorus-sounding twist. No, not chorus, circus. And it's probably supposed to give you that eerie carnival feel. And the thing to note is this song doesn't have a chorus, which isn't a bad thing at all. And so Scare Tale is one of my favorites when I first heard it, and I really hope they eventually play it live. The next song, Arabesque, is like an intermission of sorts, and it was written for a scene in the Imaginaerum movie that's coming out next year. So when you listen to the percussion and the orchestra, you can almost imagine like this scene is taking place somewhere in the Middle East or in the Sahara Desert, hence the name Arabesque. So after Arabesque, we have the next ballad, which is Turn Loose the Mermaids, which reinforces my point that Annette is even better on this album than she was on Dark Passion Play. Her voice sounds much more refined and comfortable, and like this is effortless to her. So I'm sure that those who like the slower stuff are going to love this song. And the next song, Rest Calm, is a slow melodic piece, but it's still pretty heavy, having almost an Amaranth feel to it. Lyric-wise, it's almost like about reaching a resting end in life's journey. And, as of right now, Rest Calm really hasn't done much for me, but neither did Amaranth did when I first heard it on Dark Passion Play. So I'm expecting Rest Calm to grow on me. And the same goes with The Crow, the Owl, and the Dove, which is another song with a sound you wouldn't expect on a Nightwish album or any heavy metal album. It's the most poppy song that they've done, I think. But it does have pretty deep lyrics. And, right now it's not one of the first songs on the album I want to listen to, but it will become one. I guarantee it will. And I know J-Map loves it because Marco wrote it. And he considers Marco on the band to be a god. He'll constantly get on me about that. And so the next song, Last Ride of the Day, is a track that I keep saying, I want to listen to that one again. I want to listen to that one again. Because I just love Last Ride of the Day. Everything about it, the music, the lyrics, make me think classic Nightwish. This and Scare Tale are the songs of the album I can definitely headbang to, and I constantly hum the vocal choir in this song when it's stuck in my head. And just when you thought guitarist Impu wasn't going to shred anymore in his solos, you were wrong. I mean, the solo in this song kicks major ass. The drums beat, the riffs. Fuck, this song is amazing. So Last Ride of the Day, I really like. And then now it goes into the next song called Song of Myself. This is the epic one of the album, which is a tradition that began with Wishmaster. And, I always loved the epic songs from Nightwish. I mean, I loved Phantasmic. I loved Beauty of the Beast, A Ghost Love Score, and Poet and the Pendulum especially. So, Song of Myself, I like. It's no exception to the epic thing. And I really do love the first half of the song, both for the sound and the lyrics. And I can definitely find myself moving along to it. But the second half is where it kind of loses me because it's simply reciting the poem of the same name by Walt Whitman, which, it was inspired by the poem, so, it's a bright idea to, let's recite the poem. Alright, when I first heard it, I'm like, alright, this is a good poem, but go back to the kick-ass music you guys were just playing a minute ago. And hell, the past couple times I've listened to Song of Myself, when I knew it was going to go into the poem, I felt like I wanted to skip it. Which is a shame because the first half builds up so great. Do I think it's a bad poem? No, it's just I'll listen to the poem when I'm in the mood for it. And then the last song, Imaginaerum, is simply an instrumental song that uses a medley of the musical themes from the whole album. I mean, if you listen for the album from start to finish, it's a good way to wind down from listening to it, but it kind of doesn't have a clear end of the song. I mean, when it finally does end, I'm like, oh, wait, the song actually ended. And the song almost could have been used as an intro to the album, too, like an opening overture to the album, since all the songs do fit in with one another and are in good order. I mean, if you listen to Dream Theater's 6 Degrees of Inner Turbulence, you know what I'm talking about. And if you've listened to any musical soundtracks, so it could have been working well as an overture, I thought. So, here's what I think of Imaginaerum. It's an amazing album. Does it live up to my expectations? Hell yeah, it does. I expected an amazing Nightwish album worth waiting for, and this lived up to it. This album is a masterpiece in every sense. Nightwish fans like myself are sure to love it, and I think it will definitely keep attracting more fans and give this really talented band the recognition it deserves. Is it better than Dark Passion Play? That's hard to say. Imaginaerum met my expectations, but Dark Passion Play, when I first heard it, surpassed my expectations. I didn't expect the first album with Annette to be as good as it was. Still, I'm going to give the album credit where it's due. And Annette shines on this album. She clearly established her place in the band. If this doesn't shut up the naysayers who constantly bicker over Nightwish firing Tarja, then I don't know what will. Her voice is much better here. Makes Nightwish as a whole fit better, and I'm really hoping for bigger things for this band. If they do get bigger than they are and suddenly everyone and their mom start talking about Nightwish, I'll at least be able to say, hey, I was a fan of them before they got big. Do I have any complaints about the album? Yes. It's that it doesn't have enough songs. I mean, of the 13 tracks, 3 of them are simply intro, intermission, and outro instrumentals, respectively. So that really only leaves us with 10 new tracks to dive into, which is a little less compared to the 13 songs from Dark Passion Play. I mean, so here we have... here you have 3 instrumentals, and if you're someone that really doesn't care for instrumentals and you care about songs with lyrics, you might skip them. And it's almost like we aren't quite So if there's a feel like there's less songs, it's almost like you're not satisfied after listening to the album as a whole. So that's where the album lacks, unfortunately. But believe me, if that's the only complaint about the album, then that's a good thing, because it does show the music of this album is spot on, and it's definitely going to be a favorite for Nightwish fans. Thomas Alapanian clearly has outdone himself again with the concept album, and it does make me excited to see what this movie is going to be all about. And not only that, I sure as hell can't wait to see him live in LA this January. So keep up the good work, Nightwish.